So welcome again, and thank you so much for your time, guys, especially taking the time out of your diary and just to attend this session. I'm keen to actually share some information about Lloyds Banking Group, who we are, what we do, and some of the wealth of opportunity we have on offer. So you probably are aware of us. We are a financial services firm with a large portfolio, probably one of the largest customer-based kind of clients, in the sense that we have over about, well, on average, 26 million, and it's still counting on a daily basis. In terms of our branches, we have it located in over 1,500, and it's actually still counting as well. Through that, we have some of the biggest street banks associated to that, as you can see at the below images, some of them which you probably recognise from Bank Scotland, Lloyds Bank, Halifax, Scottish Widows, Schroders as well was also included into that. And we've been serving customers all over Britain for the last 250 years, should I say. The services range, and it's not the traditional kind of customers that you're probably automatically thinking of. And it is a case that we do offer services to branches as well, but it's worth noting that we offer our services to the business and commercial banking, to insurance and pension, investment, corporate, and it's just unlimited, basically. That's just a few to kind of go through that. In terms of where we are on the journey, as you can imagine, we've been established for quite a while. And in the world of post-pandemic, there's a lot of change in demand from our customers and the ways of working. So we're actually at the stages of a huge transformation. And this is actually an amazing time to join us, to make a real impact, especially in the tech space. If we go to the next slide, I can kind of go through some of the various opportunity that might be available for you to consider to actually join us, where you can potentially make an impact with us. So the focus here will be on predominantly the last two, as you can see on the right-hand side, the undergraduate and the graduate route. But it's really worth noting that we do offer apprenticeship schemes ranging from level 2, which is not the traditional route, and it's actually from GCSE, so it's not the common route that a lot of employers offer. So we're really proud to offer that, right through to level 7, which is the master's kind of degree qualification equivalent. My main focus, as I mentioned, is going to be on the undergrads and the graduate scheme. So for the undergrads, as you probably are aware, it's for students like yourself who are currently studying at university. And we have different offerings. And the main that I would like to highlight is our industrial placement program. Every year it does range in terms of what we offer, but this year we are offering a technology engineering industrial placement program. And it is what it says on the tin. So it's a 12 months placement, and it's for those who are doing a sandwich course. So if you're doing a 3-year in university and 1 year in industry, this might be an opportunity for you to really get into the detail. And in comparison to a summer internship where you're only here for 9 weeks, you can actually make that impact over the next 12 months. The second undergrads opportunity I'd like to highlight is our virtual work experience, Start Your Journey. And that gives you an overview. If you're at the stages where you are babbling and not too sure whether you want to consider the tech route or not, or just want to consider what the opportunities that might be available and offer, you might want to consider the virtual work experience program, because it's something that will allow you the opportunity to actually see the wealth of, or the breadth of opportunity that are available within our organization, not just tech, and it offers a wide range, and it gives you the skill set and also the insight into how you can make yourself employable when you graduate from university. So we offer skills and training and development as well. The last bit I just wanted to note down is on the graduate scheme, and that is the most common. And we have quite a wide range of graduate schemes, probably about 8 now in counting. But I would want to focus more on the graduate route in technology. If we go to the next slide, we'll be able to see the routes we have available. So as you can see here, we have 8 main offering. The main focus for this call or this session will be the data science and the technology engineering routes. Both are on offer, and both will actually have very exclusive grads or ex-grads that are actually with us today to kind of share insights shortly after I go through this presentation about their personal journey and experience into both routes. But before then, I just wanted to quickly share in terms of our graduate schemes, we have a minimum criteria of a 2-2 degree. So it's a case where if you are on track or have achieved the 2-2 degree, this could be a program for you. And it's in any degree discipline, not just in kind of tech. It's just a case that we are looking for someone who has technology or technical capability, or even if it's a case you do it on the side, but it's really important because part of the assessment and selection process will assess those kind of capability depending on which route you do apply for. In terms of our kind of, I guess, recruitment process, if we go to the next slide, we should be able to see that. But I just wanted to highlight, we have two distinctive recruitment process. One is for our technology route, which is the technology engineering placement, technology engineering graduate scheme, and data science graduate scheme. You'll be lucky enough to know that we offer a two-stage interview process. So that stage is basically, from a user experience, you go onto the website, find out more about the opportunity. By you attending this event, that's definitely a great start. Once you click on apply, you will need to submit some initial details about yourself. Please note that there is no CV and no cover letter needed to be submitted. We're really keen on finding out more about you and what you can offer in the process, as opposed to a strict criteria. So it's really important you complete some of the assessments when you are invited about your strengths, the technical ability, because that's where you have the opportunity to shine through. Please note that you do have 14 days to complete that, so it's really important to try and complete it before that window. So when you are ready, just factor in enough time to go through that. If you've gone through that and you are successful, fingers crossed, you'll be invited to a virtual assessment day. That is done virtually this year, and I think that allows everyone the opportunity to actually join from wherever they are. We recently had someone that was joining outside the UK, and they had the flexibility to join as long as that they had Wi-Fi and connection. But the test and the assessment day, should I say, will have a series of problem-solving skills, one-to-one kind of interview, and some kind of, I guess, an opportunity for you to ask some questions as well, because we do understand the interview process is a two-way process. So it's really important you plan and you prepare and practice. It was mentioned earlier on that we do have an assessment practice hub, and it's really important for you to use that. And I'm going to mention a cheeky comment, which I shouldn't be, but even if you are applying for Lloyds or even any other organisation, that is a tool that will help you and prepare you for a recruitment process. Because I know sometimes it can be quite daunting and it can be quite intense as well, but I do definitely recommend try and practice as much as possible. It definitely helps from experience. And then once you've gone through that process, hopefully, fingers crossed, you receive an offer, and that is it. I'm just quickly going to highlight briefly our non-tech route, just in case, and I just want to highlight the main difference. If we go to the next slide, please. So the main difference, as you can see, is the one in the middle, is the job insight assessment stage. The rest is all the same, and the main difference is basically being assessed more about kind of, I guess, how you deal with the problem solving skills, and it's aligned to the business that you will be applying for. I'm not going to go too much into detail because this is a tech talent event, but if we go to the next slide, that will be awesome. Amazing. So I would like this as an opportunity to interact with you guys as much as possible. And I want this to be a two-way communication. So as well as me having conversation with our kind of colleagues within the business, and also I'll be able to share my insights, my personal experience, and some more information about personal tips about our recruitment process if you are interested. I wanted to use this opportunity actually for you guys to kind of think about any burning questions you may have, whether it's Lloyds Banking Group related or whether it's in general about kind of career focus. I think having the colleagues on the call is definitely going to be helpful in terms of providing more specialist advice because they come from the technical backgrounds. So I'm going to introduce our very first yes, amazing. That was really good. I'm going to invite Emmanuel. So if you can do a quick introduction of who you are and what you do at Lloyds Banking Group, that would be awesome.
Sure. Hi, my name is Emmanuel. I'm doing a computer science degree at King's College, and I'm currently 8 months into my technology engineering placement here at Lloyds Banking Group. The team I'm currently in is called Intelligent Automation, and this is the arm of the bank that primarily develops artificial intelligence products and a whole host of other ones. I've been working on some really cool products so far, most notably the customer vulnerability detection system, which intelligently detects financially vulnerable customers. This is becoming increasingly paramount during the cost of living crisis. So there are some really great extracurricular activities that I've been part of throughout the whole time here at the bank. Most notably the Reboot Hackathons, which Lloyds runs every few months. They take place in very large conference centers, and it's really amazing. Can't really get that across enough. So yeah, I've been having a really great time at the bank so far.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that introduction, Emmanuel. And then we have Amar also here with us.
Thank you, Nofi. Hi, everyone. So I'm Amar. I'm currently in the data science graduate scheme. I've been in Lloyds for about 5 months. I've joined back in September. I'm currently working in my first rotation as a data engineer in a team called behavioral science. It's basically a team consisting of lots of neuroscientists, people who have done PhDs in like psychology, neuroscience, who try to use like the massive amounts of data, transactional data especially, to kind of understand the behaviors of customers and use that in a way to try and improve their experiences and make it a bit more personalized. Before that, I was studying maths. I used to study maths at the University of Warwick, and I graduated in 2022, so last year. And yeah, I say like a point that I would like to back up that Emmanuel mentioned was the Reboot hackathons. I think those are really good. I've been there, even though I did not join the hackathon itself. It was really good in the sense that they also had panels and discussions where different teams in Lloyds would be talking about what they're working at, and like just having lots of discussions with them about how we could basically move forward. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And really impressed by some of the opportunity that you guys have, the exposure that you have in the teams. It sounds really cool. And I was actually probably worth noting that we are going to open the chat for question and answer. So please do submit the chat in the chat, and I will try my best to go through as many questions as possible. But before then, I actually want to use this as an opportunity to ask some of my burning questions as well. So in terms of, I guess, you guys have just recently started, or started last year, should I say. Manuel, you've been here probably for the last 8-9 months. When you were applying for kind of, I guess, industrial placements or consider an opportunity, what made you decide Lloyds Banking Group? Because I guess when people think about Lloyds Banking Group, they automatically think of a bank, they think of financial services, they think of banking, whether it's retail or kind of the business side or the commercial side. What made you, and what kind of factors made you consider Lloyds Banking Group as a tech employer of choice?
Yeah, so I'll go ahead. Yeah, so the first factor I looked at is mostly how much of an impact the bank has on the nation as a whole. And in this case, Lloyds Bank is the largest digital bank in the UK, has the most digitally active customers. And based off this, we can see how much of an impact that it has. And secondly, I really have a passion for technology. So seeing this bank pick up technology and basically using it to better the lives of customers, especially in the financial world, it's really, really makes Lloyds Bank really appealing to me. So that's probably the primary reason why I applied.
Amazing. Good to hear your thoughts as well from it. You've literally just taken it out for me. Go ahead.
Yeah, like for me, I'd focus, like there are lots of reasons, but I'd like to focus on the 2 main reasons. The first one being that the data science graduate scheme is rotational, which means that instead of just working in one team for the whole 2 years, you end up working in 3 different teams, and each rotation could take you to a like completely different part in the bank, which I think is really interesting. You get to learn more about like the services, the products that Lloyds offer. And the second important part is that you get to work in different roles across the whole data science life cycle. So you get to work as data engineer, you get to work as a data scientist, or like in model development basically, and you could also do other stuff like data visualization, machine learning engineering. And I think it's really important, especially for someone who's just graduated from university, to kind of experience everything, especially at like an entry level role, to kind of understand yourself a bit more and learn more about what you actually enjoy and how you want to like take your career in the next couple of years. And the second part definitely be like how massive the whole like group is. And in my opinion, for data scientists specifically, you end up having massive amounts of data, and with this massive amounts of data comes lots of opportunities for like great work to be done. Lots of ideas could be implemented, and generally it's just a huge potential for lots of great stuff to be done in the tech sector.
Amazing. That I concur completely. So thank you so much for sharing that. I can see some of the questions coming through. And one of them is actually around what I was going to ask you, Amir. I'm sorry to come back to you, but you've mentioned you've come from a finance background, which is not the traditional kind of route you would take. Oh, maths background, should I say, not finance, maths, maths background. So it's not this traditional route that some people may stereotypically think someone will come from a tech. And then also there was a question around what kind of finance knowledge you need and or mathematical knowledge you need. Tell me about how you found the transition coming from a mathematical background, going into a technology role, and did anything deter you or swayed you to going through that route?
Yeah, that's a pretty good question. So I'd say in my experience, I did like straight pure maths. And the good thing about my degree is that we had lots of flexibility in the modules that we get to choose. So for example, in my last year, all of the modules were optional. And in second year, I tried out like an AI project in the AI Society at work, and I found that I really enjoyed like the coding part of it and like the theory behind the models that we were using. And from there, I ended up learning that I actually really enjoy like the machine learning side of things. I enjoyed taking more statistical modules and taking more maths modules that are focused on the applied side of things, and focused on learning like how those models work. And I'd say that a combination of like the modules that I took and my personal interest in the field, it has definitely helped me to get into data science in the end. I did like a couple of research projects on my own because I was just really interested in kind of expanding my toolkit and having a better overall experience in data science, understanding like what it's all about. But in general, I'd say that having a mathematical degree or even any type of degree is already a good base to start from. It's more about just enjoying the problem solving side of things, having interest in learning how to code, and in general just applying lots of what you've learned in like linear algebra and just mathematical and statistical knowledge into your day-to-day work. I think that's already a pretty good place to start from.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. There was a question also with that on kind of, I guess, how you're going to be assessed in the first stage. And it's really important to kind of, I guess, note down that it's not about what university you've come from, what degree you've completed. We are really thinking about, and we're really trying to assess more about you as a person. At some point, Emmanuel, it will be good to hear from your point of view how you found the recruitment process, because you are quite recent as well. But in terms of assessment, we are assessing your strengths, kind of the values, as well. That's really important. But some of the questions will range and you'll have opportunity to actually take a break. So it's important to know that you're not expected to rush through it, and we wouldn't recommend you rushing through it. So there's some activities where you'll be asked to interpret data. There'll be some activities where you'll be asked to put certain things in chronology, or if you see a certain pattern, you're meant to guess. So it does range, and we're not trying to trick you out. It's just to understand how your way of thinking, because I guess in a team, we need to ensure we've got a wide range of colleagues with different strengths and ability. We don't want a team that everyone looks the same, behaves the same, thinks the same, or comes from the same university. So that's the reason why we're doing these tests. So it's not trying to get you out in any way, but definitely, as I mentioned, do practice. But before we go to the next question, I would like to go through kind of, I guess, your personal experience in terms of the recruitment process. Maybe sharing, because I'm conscious of time and I'm respectful for everyone's time, and I want to make sure we finish on time, promptly. It would be good to get maybe a top tip, one tip that you would wish you knew before you went through the recruitment process. Should we go to Emmanuel first? No pressure, Emmanuel.
Sure. So one top tip is really refresh on your data interpretation knowledge. Definitely looking at charts, graphs, especially different types of data. It could be pie charts, statistics, tabular format, whatever format. Definitely practice with that, because there are going to be loads of these around in the assessment centers or the online assessments. You'll be asked to like visually analyze and talk about what the data is and trends, etc. So definitely practice that.
Awesome. You've just literally kind of supported everything I was saying about the assessment hub. Thank you. Amar, anything from your side?
Yeah, I think what Emmanuel said was spot on for the first stages. I think I could maybe add a point for the assessment center. I think it's really important to properly research Lloyds, kind of understand what's going on at the moment. And I'd say it's also really important to understand why you're actually interested in joining Lloyds. I believe that it's one of the important things that you would like to show in whatever assessment you have on the assessments, on the assessment day.
Amazing. Thank you so much, guys. And in terms of, I guess, in the world of post kind of pandemic, the way of working has changed. And what historically used to be in the office 5 days a week, especially as a grad or industrial placement, that may have changed. I'm not going to assume, because I'm going to ask you both in terms of what your working pattern is. I can make an assumption based on your background that it might be flexible, but hey, let's see. Emmanuel, do you want to go first in terms of sharing more about what your kind of working, like work-life balance is, and also what your working style is, whether it's in the office or at home?
Yeah, so Lloyds embraces what's called a hybrid working model. So you're very flexible as to go in the office or from home. But generally, most teams come in at least 1 or 2 days a week, which is really good. So you get a good exposure face to face, especially during meetings. It's really, really useful to be in the office. And then, of course, we have this flexibility to work remotely as well for a few days of the week. So there's a lot of flexibility there. As for work-life balance, the bank is really, really stringent on maintaining a good balance between work and your life, other stuff. So yeah, you will never really be overworked. I never really come across anyone actually staying up long hours. No, it's very strictly 9 to 5. Yeah, so really, throughout my time here, I had a really good time.
Quick question on that, Amar, will come to you. In terms of, it's good that it's work-life balance, but do you feel like you've got a good sphere in the sense of being challenged in your role, or is it too easy? Emmanuel, sorry, that's for you in terms of your role. Do you find it's too easy? Because you said you're literally 9 to 5, you're done. But how are you finding the role? Are you finding it challenging? Are you finding it how are you finding it? I'm not going to answer the question for you.
Oh yeah, so in terms of the tasks that we're given, I'm always given tasks that are just able to push beyond my current skill set. So I'm always learning new stuff. I never have any task that's too easy or anything like that. At the same time, the tasks are definitely manageable and within my to do, outside of my knowledge. But the managers are really helpful if I'm stuck on anything. They're always prepared to give me hints and talk me through any framework or library that I don't know. They're always a moment away. So yeah, definitely there's a good balance between challenging and the ease of the task that I'm given.
Amazing. Thank you for that. And Amal, what about yourself in terms of work-life balance and how you find in the role itself?
Yeah, so I'd say work-life balance for me at least it's been way better than what it was back in university. I've never been asked to like work after like the normal working hours, and even all of the graduates that have joined in the last cohort, I've never heard any one of them mention something like that, and it's been consistent for the last 3 or 4 months. So yeah, I'd say it's been really enjoyable. As for the working patterns, I'd say it depends on the teams. The general thing is that most of the teams are encouraged to come into the office 2 days a week, but in the end, it depends on the team. So for example, my team, we have people who are working in Leeds, people are like based in London, Wales, and because of that, some people just prefer working all of their days from home. In my case, I'd like to go to the office once every week. So I'd say it's varied and it depends from one team to the other, but that part has also been great in my opinion.
Nice. Thank you so much for sharing. And I can see some questions that's come through around sponsorship, and which is a good shout. It's really important when you are looking at our grad schemes with our technology route, so the data science and technology engineering, we offer sponsorship or will support towards sponsorship. So if you are considering and you need help and kind of assistance, just make sure you flag that and note that in your application process. In terms of additional questions, because I can see there's a wide range as well, but before we go into it, one more, I think it will be good to hear from you guys on the team, how you find in working with the team, coming from university and adapting to the new way of working, like as in a full-time job. How was that for you and how was the transition? Amir, do you want to go first?
Sure, yeah. So my team is it started as just being four people in the team, and after that it expanded to about 12 now. I think it's
Wow,
been really
prime
enjoyable.
example, Amar, in the sense of that transformation and that growth piece that we're trying to get to. So yeah, going after you.
Yeah, it's been great because the project at the beginning, it was like a small project. We were still thinking of the idea and trying to implement it, and after that we managed to like expand and grow it. I'd say it's been really fun to experience working in both a small and a large team. The thing that I enjoyed the most is just getting to know people with different backgrounds. We have lots of people who are like software engineers. We have some people in data engineering, data scientists, behavioral scientists, and I think for me at least, it's something that I find really exciting because you get to kind of learn a lot about every discipline. And yeah, I'd say that's the part that I enjoyed the most about working in teams ever since I joined Lloyds.
Amazing. I love that. And Emmanuel, what about yourself?
Yeah, so I would say the part that I love about working in teams is how social everyone is, how everyone stays connected even outside of work. We got the opportunity to organize many socials. So for this Christmas, we had a huge party and went playing mini golf. I was in charge of organizing that. It was really fun. So I like how teams in Lloyds are not just teams during the workplace, they're also teams outside of work. So that's really appealing.
I can imagine. Thank you so much for sharing that. And before we wrap up, I guess it would be good to hear from you both in terms of top tips that you would share with your younger self. Should we go to Amir first and then Emmanuel?
Okay. So I'd say general top tips. Think it's really good to just try and experience, especially when you're at university, try to experience any field that you just think might be interesting, even if it's not directly related to what you're studying. I think it's pretty good to just try out everything and try to keep learning more about yourself. So I'd say this is the part from the just studying at university. I think it really links well with careers, because as you understand yourself a bit more, you get to like understand what you want to do in the future, at least at the time you are at. And even when you actually end up joining a career, hopefully your interests are going to change. So say the most important part is just to keep exploring and keep like trying to understand yourself a bit more.
Perfectly timed. Awesome. And then Emmanuel, yourself?
Yeah, so I think the biggest tip I can give is to research any upcoming trends that are coming in the industry that you're applying to, especially if it's the tech industry. As we have seen over the last few years, there's been huge progress made in the AI segment, new products and technologies coming out. It's constantly evolving, and you have to stay on top of that. And by getting ahead with these technologies, you're putting yourself in a better position.
That's a really good top tip there. Thank you so much, guys. And I just wanted to thank you both for taking the time out. Bearing in mind, we talked about 9 to 5 and you're doing overtime right now with us, but really appreciate you speaking to everyone. And I would like to give it, pass the mic back to Cecilie, and then we'll go through the closing.